It is the 2025 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament Championship game. And this is a top 25 showdown for all the marbles in this conference. The top two teams in the league all season, the 26-5 Creighton Blue Jays, the 30-3 UConn Huskies, number 3 versus number 22. Here we go from Mohegan Sun Arena. Both these teams made statements in the semifinals. UConn, a 28-point win over Villanova. Creighton, how about a 29-point win over Seton Hall? And it's only fitting to get 1 versus 2 for the title game. As we welcome you to Mohegan Sun, everybody, I'm John Fanta. She is Kim Adams. These two teams, they've been on a collision course to this point, and they are loaded with star power.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one, John, because each of these teams are led by a formidable duo. Let's start with the UConn Huskies, a name that everybody knows by now. There she is, Miss Paige Bueckers. She is averaging about 19 points, 5 assists on the season at an incredible 53% efficiency. She has really set the tone for UConn in these Big East tournament games, but it's the rookie and the vet. We have the sensational freshman, Sarah Strong. She is averaging about 16 points, 8 rebounds, more than 2 steals per game. And John, there are only 2 teams in the country that have 2,000-point scorers on the roster. Lauren Jensen, one of those 2, averaging about 18 points per game. And her counterpart, Morgan Molly, comes into this game with 330 career three-pointers made, but at 6'1", she can take you inside as well. And all 4 of these young women have had strong starts in this tournament. How about the 15 and 15 double-double from the freshman, Sarah Strong? That's insane.
And you just said it. She's only a freshman. With more on this championship heavyweight showdown, we welcome in Allison Williams. Good evening, Allison.
Hey there, John. If Creighton wants to win their first Big East tournament title, they're going to have to accomplish a couple other things that have never been done. First of all, beating UConn. The Blue Jays are 0-11 against the Huskies, and they'll have to do it here at Mohegan Sun Arena, where UConn has never lost to a Big East opponent. Creighton head coach Jim Flannery said that his team is going to have to change it up if they want different results, both on the defensive and offensive end, where they want to create some more downhill dribble plays. And he also said his veteran team has to have composure when UConn starts to go on a run. They can't let 6-0 become 12-0. He said, can you slow down when your heart starts to race?
Be where your feet are at is what Jim Flannery told his team this morning. His starting lineups are sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Oh, and the Huskies have another sharpshooter and one of the best guards in the country in AZ Fudd.
Yeah, AZ Fudd playing so confidently right now. I really like how she's taken it to the rack, but we know she is a better than 40% three-point shooter for this Huskies team.
Averaging 13 per game in this tournament. And the UConn Huskies at 30-3 on the year. Gino Auriemma is the sport's all-time wins leader at 1,243. In year 40 at the helm, he accomplished that record earlier this year for Sarah Strong, her first Big East tournament final. Jays in the blue, UConn in the white. The Big East championship game is underway, and the tip belongs to the Huskies.
How about this atmosphere, Fanta? It's electric in here.
Sellout crowds 3 consecutive days. And a turnover on UConn's opening possession.
And that was forced by Mallory Brake, who's really known as the defensive stopper on this Creighton team. She had a huge steal to score in the quarterfinals when Creighton was really on the ropes against Georgetown. They almost didn't make it to this game.
These two teams met just 11 days ago in Connecticut. UConn, a 72-53 win to clinch a Big East regular season title. You heard Allison say it. Jim Flannery wants to try some different things on the offensive end of the floor tonight. Shot clock at 5. It's Lauren Jensen. 2,000-plus points scored. A Mallory Brake. Shut down. And a shot clock violation.
Really strong opening defensive possession for UConn and just trying to take away what Creighton wants to do. Lauren Jensen was able to blow by, but Mallory Brake was met by a couple of defenders on that catch inside.
Huskies, top 5 in America, allowing just 52 points per game. Here's Jana El Alfi in her first Big East tournament, and she's performed, Kim.
And this is where UConn has a noticeable advantage in this game. They have a lot more size. They have dominated the paint in the first 2 regular season meetings between these teams.
A turnover. Exactly what Coach Flannery said we cannot have happen. An entry to Al-Alfi, and one.
And that's why you can't especially have live ball turnovers against this UConn team who is so good at bringing it back the other way. There's the freshman we highlighted, Sarah Strong, who is a tremendous passer as well, going a little high-low into action. How about the start for Jana El-Alfi?
Well, Kim, you think about it, it's not just Sarah Strong, but it's a new experience for El-Alfi and, frankly, for Caitlin Shen, the Princeton transfer, to be on this stage in a Connecticut uniform.
Yeah, very different from Creighton. I mean, these players have never played in the championship game, but they have been around this tournament for 4 or 5 years.
Lockett tries to drive, shot clock at 8. Here's Molly Mogensen. Another grad student, down to 4. Lockett, trap, Mogensen flashes in. A bump, and it'll go back to Connecticut.
And we were talking to Jim Flannery, Creighton coach, about how do you get some more efficient scoring against this UConn team. He said they are one of the best teams at switching, and when they did that, that's what coughed up the turnover there. You see, turnovers have been an issue for Creighton, who is in the top 10 of the country in terms of fewest turnovers per game.
Strong was off, and it's going the other way. Foul call came in on UConn. And right away here, Jim Flannery is going to his bench. He's going to sit Lockett down for Jamie Horan. Why is he doing that?
Yeah, he told us that when UConn goes to their bench, they bring in the speed of KK Arnold, Ashlyn Shade. It's almost like you're playing a different team. So he wants to save Keani Lockett's energy until those two come in the game, because she is one of their quicker and better defensive guards. Really interesting.
Foul was on El-Alfi, her first. Shot clock at 6. Morgan Molly, a 2,000-plus point scorer, one of the greatest Jays ever, cannot hit on her first attempt. Caitlin Shen, the Princeton transfer. Gino Auriemma says she's poised as ever.
And John, we came on the air talking about Paige Bueckers, Sarah Strong, even a little AZ Fudd. All of the points so far have come from players other than those 3. That is the depth and balance of this year's Huskies team.
A Huskies team that made a statement on February the 16th when they beat South Carolina by 29.
Gino Auriemma loves the defensive presence that Caitlin Shen has brought this UConn team, coming in as a grad transfer from Princeton. You see she had the mismatch against Molly, but denying that pass in.
They left Mallory Brake wide open. Mogensen pulls, can't get the friendly bounce. And UConn, who has held their first 2 opponents in this tournament, St. John's and Villanova, each of them at one point had a 2-point quarter. Yes, just 2 points in the entire quarter.
And this Creighton team is one of the more impressive offensive units in the country, and they have yet to get a clean look in this game against this really strong half-court defense from UConn. Creighton's going to have to look to play with some pace, try to get out ahead of that half-court defense.
Sarah Strong.
And John, she can do everything on the floor, including stretch out the floor as technically the 4 player on this team, sometimes the 5. She doesn't really have a position because she's so versatile in her skill set.
A welcome sight for Connecticut, just 25% from 3 in the first 2 Big East tournament games. Again, the shot clock's down to 10. Sarah Strong with a steal. Sarah Strong is special. Jensen out of control, and things are quickly coming undone for Creighton.
I was looking to see if Flannery would call a timeout. Nothing yet. He's going to trust this experienced group to get to the under 5 timeout.
The basket here might not give him a... Strong is long. Again, what must they do differently?
Well, they need to take care of the ball. First and foremost, have to be strong with it, have to anticipate the switches, and then they have to find a way to break through this initial line of the defense.
Kick out pass to Horan. For Creighton, a nightmarish start continues. When you think about it, in the first two meetings between these teams in the regular season, just 3 points separated them combined after the first quarter. It was typically the second quarter that had given Creighton issues, but an 11-0 haul out of the gates.
UConn has gotten more than half their points off of turnovers so far, 6 of the 11.
Okay, Arnold just checked in. Oriana says she's like a sixth starter, but our Energizer Bunny, this time she gives it away. Second UConn turnover. Molly just cannot buy one for a team that averages close to 10 threes a game. Lauren Jensen, oh, did the Jays need that?
They really did, and the shot that Molly took, those are the shots that Creighton is going to need to make in this ball game. Jensen and Molly have not had their signature scoring games in either of the two regular season meetings. They combined for just 18 in the last meeting, which is what one of them averages just by themselves.
UConn has started 5 for 7. Strong off the catch. Cannot hit it. The Jays string a couple of stops together. Making their first Big East championship game appearance since 2016. Molly, that's more like it for Creighton.
And Molly liked the mismatch there. She pointed to her teammate at the top to get it over to the wing for a post entry. She wanted to take that in against Daisy Fudd.
Paige Bueckers. And so a response from Creighton. And Kim, the way that this started, considering UConn's already had a first quarter in this tournament, where they led 18-2 after one, this is encouraging. And Jensen, you can count that in the foul. 3 straight scores for the Jays. It's a Big East championship showdown. 2 of the top 25 teams in America. Creighton, a fearless response. But UConn, a sharp start with a title on the line.
Okay, so I went backwards roll, forwards roll, backwards roll. And I told him, oh, yeah, and then I kind of surfed.
It's impressive. I mean, I want to be able to do that at his age. That's very impressive.
March is the time for dancing. Jim Flannery is 60 years young.
That is just incredible to see a coach do that. I mean, you see why he's so loved and revered by his players, by his colleagues, by the media. That was phenomenal. I was in tears watching that last night.
452 wins at the helm over 23 seasons. Kim, what makes him one of the great coaches in the sport?
Well, I think Creighton is always at a high level offensively. They run one of the most intricate motion offenses that you will see as a team, and we saw that in UConn's shoot-around today. There goes Paige, her first buckets of the game, a triple. But UConn spent a lot of time in their shoot-around today figuring out, do they want to switch here? Do they want to go under, over? And that's a UConn team that knows Creighton very well.
Jensen from the corner can't answer, strong with the board. UConn beating Villanova 82-54 in the semis. Bueckers had 23, 21 of which came in the first half. Got to the elbow and should go to the line for a pair.
Right there, Creighton was showing her some coverage off the screen. As we look at that three-point shot, Horan tried to contest it, but gave Paige a little bit too much space. You see her hit the three, and on this one, she goes to her mid-range game where she has really been thriving so far in the Big East tournament.
Already a two-time winner of the most outstanding player at this tournament. She comes into the program in 2020, the legend of Bueckers, well alive on social media and beyond, this phenom. But Kim, it hasn't been a Hollywood script. A tibial fracture, then a torn ACL that caused her to miss the whole 2022-23 campaign. And she has talked even this week about what it means to have this moment, these next few weeks before she's presumably the #1 pick in the WNBA draft.
Yeah, it's a really special time for her because even last year when she was healthy, the team just had so many injuries that it was just not an easy season. So this is really a great situation for Paige right now. She's been playing so well. She has so many talented teammates around her.
There she goes. Paige Bueckers has ignited. Now Jim Flannery calls time. They're on their feet at Mohegan.
And if I'm not mistaken, John, this is a personal 8-0 run from Paige Bueckers. She had been scoreless the first couple minutes, but Paige Bueckers has caught fire. 2 triples. She's up to 8 points for the Huskies.
It's Bueckers madness. And the fan says it's not March Madness. Kim, that's what's also impressive. To watch Paige Bueckers after these games as that finish goes for Keani Lockett. She is spending close to an hour after all her responsibilities are done, mingling with the fans, signing autographs, getting as many photos taken with the kids as possible.
Yeah, it's really cool to see just how many UConn fans, how many young Paige Bueckers fans there are here in her jersey and her signature braids.
AZ Fudd automatic.
We were lined up right behind that shot from our vantage point. I could tell it was going in as soon as it left her hands. That form is just so pure, the rotation, the elbow locked into place.
We know the Kim Adams shooter's touch. You know a good one when you see it as Mallory Brake answers. Kim, the difference in this first quarter for UConn, just over 25% from 3 in the first 2 games in this tournament, 4 of 5 thus far.
Yeah, they are really stretching things out. They're putting a lot of pressure on Creighton, and there's the balance. They've knocked down a couple threes, and then KK Arnold comes in off the bench as really a 6th starter for Gina Auriemma. It takes it right to the rack. Everyone is a threat.
And now Arnold shows her burst with a steal. Arnold a give to Bueckers, and it's short.
KK Arnold's such a menace on the defensive end of the floor. I mean, she just snuck behind that defense, snatched the ball, and was up the floor in a hurry. Another turnover.
The 4th by Creighton. AZ Fudd is feeling it. That's 2 threes that haven't even touched anything.
Yeah, John, that's actually 7 turnovers already for Creighton.
Sure is. 3 seconds for Jensen to break with 1. Jensen, what a first quarter for the 22-time Big East Tournament champion, Connecticut Huskies.
Turnovers have been an issue for Creighton in these meetings. They had 14 first-half turnovers in the first meeting. They have 7 here so far. And the UConn offense has been on fire. AZ Fudd has already knocked down 2 triples. How about a little downhill action from KK Arnold? Another one for AZ. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Allison is with Jim Flannery on the Big East Championship game, up 16. Let's go inside Gina Auriemma's huddle.
Hey,
Make some noise for Ike.
we're working our ass off on the defensive end. It can't stop, all right? All right? It can't stop. And our transition game's got to keep going. Got to keep pushing the ball. We can keep looking up, and we can get in the lane.
So, John, there's a lot of talk about just how good UConn is offensively. I don't know if people realize just how good they have been defensively as we look at the freshmen leading the way. Take a look at this, John. There are only 2 teams in the country who average in the top 10 for both field goal percentage and defensive field goal percentage. UConn and UCLA. UConn is #1 in the country in field goal percentage. 5th in field goal percentage defense. Just really remarkable what they do on the defensive end, as we heard Gino applauding in that timeout.
Kim, that's what they spent over 80% of their shoot-around on earlier today, was how they were going to cover ball screens, what they were going to do on the defensive end of the floor. Mogensen as Chen dribbled that off her foot. Mogensen can't hit. Jensen with some hustle. She falls to the hardwood, and it's back to the Huskies.
And attention to detail and precision from that shoot-around is certainly paying off here. As we talked about just how good Creighton is offensively. They average about 73 points per game, sitting on 11, and they really have gotten very few clean looks, especially for their stars, Molly and Jensen.
Talking about a team that shoots 46% per game, just 5 for 15 to start. 8 on the shot clock. Bueckers with some flashes in quarter number 1. The fader is short. What adjustments would you like to see from the Jays beyond just taking better care of the ball?
I think they have to play off of how UConn is defending them. They're doing a lot of switches. You may want to see some more slips. And I think if they could get some stops, it allows them to get out and run and avoid that half-court defense that has been really locked down so far.
That's an 8th turnover by Creighton. Chen with a Euro at the track.
And this is the 8th turnover for Creighton. And who starts that deflection? No one other than Sarah Strong, who, as good as she has been offensively this season, she leads UConn in both blocks and steals as a freshman.
Turnover problem, 37 combined, forced by UConn in the 2 regular season games. That is more like it for Lauren Jensen. Kim, what a career she has had.
Well, it's been incredible, both her and Morgan Molly. There's a steal from Mogensen, little disruption.
The Blue Jays are within a dozen.
The two of them kind of on the same train tracks. They both scored 2,000 career points in the same exact game just a couple of weeks ago.
That's right. 2 of the top 3 scorers in Creighton history on the floor for them right now. Their 127th game playing together. Shade off, Strong picks up the mess.
And that's what can't happen, because I thought that was one of Creighton's best defensive possessions. They certainly responded to Jim Flannery saying we're not on our game about switching. Sarah Strong, we were just hyping up the defense, and she gives us a block.
A foul on Mogensen.
Sarah Strong is a 6'2" freshman who can switch onto a guard and make a play like that, and not only block the shot, but then save the possession by jumping out of bounds and throwing it off her opponent. Her IQ is just off the charts. She attributes a lot of that to her parents. We just saw her mom, Allison Feaster, and her dad, Danny. She said that's probably what she's taken the most from them.
Allison, a 3-time Ivy League Player of the Year at Harvard, number 5 pick in the '98 draft. Allison has more.
Well, she learned a lot of her basketball from her parents, as you mentioned, Kim, but it wasn't by chance. It was through a lot of hours watching film as young as 8th grade. She said after AAU games, they would break down the film together with mom and dad, and then her mom, who of course works for the Boston Celtics now, Allison Feaster, she would often Zoom after Sarah's high school games to go over what she can improve on, areas she needs to be better. So she's been coached up from 2 parents from a very young age.
Yeah, really cool. I mean, post-game Zooms in 8th grade, it's really paid off. We enjoyed talking to Sarah today. I asked her, what's your favorite thing to do on the basketball court? Another turnover forced by UConn, Creighton's 9th. But I asked Sarah Strong, you do everything on the court. What brings you the most excitement? And she had an answer that Gino Oriema didn't like. She said, I love to make a good pass. And Gino has been begging her to actually stop passing and shoot more. So he was not pleased to hear that that was her response.
Which his team does have the best assist-to-turnover ratio in the country at 2.0. That's the best since they even began tracking that type of research back to 2007.
Look at this defense. Triple team on Molly, and they close out on the opposite side of the floor in time. Everyone moving on a string.
Mogensen, Bueckers is glued on him.
Swarming defense right now for UConn.
Molly took a fall. Arnold on to Bueckers, wide open Fudd. Her third three.
I mean, that's just a remarkable sequence. And I don't see how you can watch that and not think that this is a team that can win a national championship in a couple of weeks.
Deflection. It'll stay with Creighton.
AZ Fudd. I mean, if you want to become a shooter, just study AZ Fudd's shot form on repeat. That is her third triple of the game. She is 3 for 3, and she has not even touched the rim. It's been pure net.
Janelle Alfie back in for Strong. You just said it, though, partner. I got to ask you. We'll have more time, but you just said national championship. Now, that's high praise. What makes you believe in this team to be able to win it all?
Yeah, I think they are playing at such an elite level right now on both ends. As we've been looking at some of those numbers, I think their depth is incredible, and then they're led by 2 players playing at all-American levels in Paige and Sarah, and then the complementary pieces are just so good. This is a versatile, unselfish team. Not a lot of weaknesses in what they're doing right now.
And Janelle Alfie, she started really strong. That's a bump. And it's going the other way. It's an offensive foul, says Joe Vasili. And Gino Auriemma looks on with his hands up.
Let's take a look at what the officials saw. Oh yeah, I'd say that was sold quite well from Haran. I don't think El Alfie really dipped the shoulder or leaned into her to make her fall.
A 10th Creighton turnover. They only average 11 per game. When Bueckers gets downhill, good luck. Drake fouls her. First time these 2 programs have ever met in the Big East tournament. As Ice Brady checks in for UConn. And this has been a development, Kim, for UConn the last week. They've had Brady back from a shoulder injury.
Yeah, Ice Brady had missed 7 games, a couple of weeks, but came back right before the Big East tournament, and she gives them some nice moments off the bench.
With an air ball, we've got a timeout. There's only one. Welcome back to Mohegan Sun. Yes,
wow, that is commitment.
Oh, it's a night for the paint. And
oh,
puppets.
Not the ventriloquist dog again.
Huskies up 17 to the film room with Kim Adams.
Well, putting Paige Bueckers and Sarah Strong in ball screen action is like a cheat code. Look at Paige reading this. The defense sinks in. You can't leave that much space for Sarah Strong. The freshman drains it, and then a little bit of a brush screen action here. Both defenders, again, they sink low. Paige Bueckers, as good as anyone in the country at reading that screen coverage, pulling up for 3. As we look at what these 2 have done so far, and John, as we've done all weekend, I have to add to the stat line of Sarah Strong, not just 7 points and 4 steals. She has 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block as well. I think she is as well-rounded of a freshman as maybe we have ever seen.
Wow. Ever.
She fills, I said maybe. I may be forgetting a couple, but she literally fills every single stat on the stat sheet. And there's a lot of intangibles that you don't even see on that box score.
By the way, special thanks to our libero, Jake Fuller, who's been doing a great job giving us those film room plays.
Really fun stuff, especially with this UConn team who executes offense at such a high level.
Arnold with Brady, Bueckers, Fudd, and Shade. Bueckers with 8. It was an 8-0 run earlier in this half, but first miss from downtown, but there's Ashley Shade, the Big East 6th Woman of the Year. Number 5 is left open. Woo! Paging Bueckers. Jim Flannery. Bueckers has her sights set on another trophy.
This UConn team is locked in and connected right now. A couple of extra passes, big buckets. Loving this start so far. She's made 3 triples.
Paige bucket signs are everywhere. She's got 11. UConn up 20. Coming up on the Jeep halftime report, we'll have first half highlights and we'll preview the Big East men's tournament, which begins in Gotham on Wednesday.
John, something that is really standing out to me so far, that was UConn's 7-3. Creighton has 0. They are 11th in the country, making 9 threes a game. They're 0 for 7, and there is another turnover. Creighton already into double-digit turnovers.
Tim, how is that possible that they don't have a main 3?
Because UConn's defense has been so focused on the details. They know when they're switching, they're being aggressive. They're not allowing Molly and Jensen to get loose on the perimeter.
And a pass from Arnold. And the Jays find something from a momentum standpoint to take into the locker room. Wide open Jay is good for Jamie Horan. Creighton program has been one of the best in the country the last 2 years. The record, 52-11. This year, all 5 losses are to ranked teams. Bueckers, long, and she's going to get it back because of Brady's efforts. But back to KK Arnold. The Energizer Bunny. She never stopped moving.
I mean, if KK Arnold is hitting threes, you kind of got to forget about 8 threes now for UConn here in the first half.
And Morgan Molly has been held to just 2 points. That kind of turns it over. Jensen with 7, but the UConn scoring duo, they combined for 35.5 points per game. They've been held to just 9 with 2 minutes to go in the first half as we get a foul away from the ball.
Yeah, that has been a theme in the first 2 meetings with those two. And UConn's offense just so elite right now. Extra passes, AZ Fudd making something happen by getting 2 feet in the paint. The crowd is loving it too. KK Arnold not really known as a 3-point threat, but it's that kind of night for UConn. 8 triples so far.
And the families with high fives. Lauren Jensen, that is her game.
First triple of the night for Lauren. For Creighton, maybe that will get a little bit of a confidence boost going just to see that ball finally go through.
And now Molly with a deflection and a swipe. A big 90 seconds for Creighton to try to capture something to close this first half, which has been dominated by the Huskies. Molly with 12.
She wants that post up, but they're pushing her out or sending her a double when she gets inside.
And you can tell she's tired on that take.
Yeah, I mean, they're making her work for everything. She's just trying to roam a little bit in the paint, and she's being met with help defense and size everywhere she turns.
We'll have the first half analysis, a Big East men's tournament preview. It's all on the Jeep halftime report. And up at the break. Attack. That one just spins out for Chen. Final minute of this first half. Nice delivery and a finish for break from Jensen.
I think that has to be a recipe for Creighton. They have the speed and personnel to play with a little bit of pace, but of course you can't do that if you're not getting stops on this end. So it really starts with the defense and rebounding.
Second quarter scoring has been even until Fudd. Fudd has 11, joining Bueckers.
She's gotten so confident and just smart about putting that ball on the floor when people are really trying to take away the three-point shot. She's so explosive now and can finish so well around the rim.
Shot clock turned off. Creighton just one made three in this first half. 1 of 9. Jensen, they brought the double. It's at 8. Skip pass to Mogensen. Jensen heaves. And in a lot of ways, that sums up the opening 20.
Yeah, I think a little too unselfish there for Mogensen. I thought on the skip pass across the court, Mogensen should have taken that instead of passing to a teammate who was already being defended.
Creighton's 3 lowest scoring first halves this season, all against UConn. 4 seconds here. Chen. Caitlin Chen from half court.
Oh, that was as close as you could get.
It was. It's about the only thing that didn't go UConn's way in the first half.
Yeah, that's going to hurt their three-point percentage. They were 8 of 14, now 8 of 15. I mean, just an incredible display on both ends of the floor for the UConn Huskies.
Allison Williams is with AZ Fudd.
AZ, you guys came out and shot the ball so well through that first half. What's been the key to the offensive rhythm?
I think the key is getting stops on defense. Our transition offense has been incredible, and then, you know, just having that good energy on defense, it carries over to the offensive side. And we've been setting good screens, move the ball, makes it easy.
You could certainly see how that defense fed into the offense. How are you guys able to be so disruptive and come up with all those steals and turnovers?
I think just our intensity level and our communication. We know this team is super smart, super disciplined. We have to be super communicative with our switches, with our talking, making sure that they're not exposing us on defense. So I think we've been doing a great job of communicating.
Thanks, AZ. Thank you. He knows his team needs to be better in a lot of areas, but overall felt like the second quarter was better for them. They didn't turn the ball over as much. He said offensively, we have to continue to find that balance between utilizing the dribble and utilizing screens. He said we just got caught a couple times defensively, miscommunication when they got out in transition. So he knows his team has to be better, but he also knows they have to play a full game against UConn.
Well, they start the third quarter with a stop. That's the key to them trying to chop back into this deficit.
So when UConn is switching as much as they do, I think you want to try to exploit that with some slips. And then I'd like to see them continue to play through the post a little bit, just because UConn is sinking in and then quickly passing out of that and around the horn to try to open up some threes or a driving lane.
Perhaps that could be helpful because Creighton, a team that prides itself on three-point shooting, 1 for 10 from beyond the arc in the opening 20. Sarah Strong lost it. And a turnover by the Huskies. Numbers for Creighton. A give to Mallory Brake. Can't lay it in. That is tough.
That you have to make if you're going to get back in this game. That you're not going to get a better opportunity than that in this ballgame. You have to convert the easy ones.
Everybody standing in Mohegan. Capacity crowd. Jim Flannery said it. It is like a road game. They own 98% of the things. But 10,000 in this building, Kim. Third straight day.
Really incredible to see just how they come out for their Huskies.
Connecticut has never lost a Big East tournament game in this building. Molly short.
That's just well defended by the freshman, Sarah Strong. They match up size-wise. Sarah Strong can guard on the interior, on the perimeter. She stays disciplined and contests that look from Morgan Molly, who typically is really good on that isolation, back down, short corner, fadeaway jumper.
Bueckers looking for fun. He joined Bueckers with 11 in the first half. Strong cannot get it going, and it's tapped out by Bueckers to Chen. Caitlin Chen. Part of Creighton's strategy to play off her, and then a strip by Brake. So the Jays have started the third quarter with defense, but neither team has scored. And they capitalize. There's that entry you were talking about. Jensen. Short. Paige Bueckers all the way.
That's just simple. Just the slightest of hesitation right around that free throw line area to get the defender to to rise up the slightest bit. Paige Bueckers, not much she can't do at elite levels on the offensive floor, switching hands on the finish. Paige Bueckers up to 13 points in this Big East championship game.
On the original Connecticut national champions, Jen Rosati, a two-time WNBA champion as well, a UConn legend. For Gino Auriemma, who is in year 40 at the helm. Through the years, Kiv Adams. Oh, this is fun.
I mean, in the day and age of NIL, if someone hasn't given Gino a hair deal, they're really missing out. Because, I mean, look at this hair just continuing on through the eras.
Just an amazing run. And now the all-time winningest coach in the sports history, the 11 national championships, 8-time Naismith Coach of the Year, a die-hard Philadelphia sports fan and Philly man who started his coaching career way back at Bishop McDevitt High School in 1977. Then a stop at St. Joe's, then at Bishop Kenrick. He was an assistant. Another person who was at that school became his best friend, Phil Martelli. The two of them are getting the Joe Lapchick Award next fall for their service in basketball as Bueckers hits an and-one.
I've never seen somebody look so stressed as Gino Auriemma with a team that has a 20-point lead in the Big East championship game. Paige Bueckers continues to be extremely aggressive, and we've seen that fire from her. We have seen the reactions all weekend long. You can tell she's hit some sort of switch in her mind. Ooh. She's locked in.
Foul on Flood. Yes, she is with 16 points. You know, what else is amazing about Gino Auriemma is he emigrated with his family from southern Italy to Norristown, Pennsylvania. He taught himself English. He took on that challenge. And his parents, they worked low-wage factory jobs. He's been documented that, saying that taught him about fight and perseverance in life.
Jim Flannery is livid because they just missed an offensive foul on Sarah Strong. Or sorry, a defensive foul, trying to fight through the screen. She completely extended her elbow right there on the left elbow. I saw it. He has every right to be that upset. She just elbowed her way through the screen.
It was a silly match for Soko Stevens, our crew. Sarah Strong attacks and finishes. 9 for Strong.
Just continue to be blown away by her offensive versatility, John. How well she reads the defense, her IQ as such a young player. Flannery still giving that ref an earful on the sideline.
Morgan Lally swishes it home. Was 1 for 7 before that make. Strong, a wide open lane.
UConn just attacking the rotations, attacking the closeout, back-to-back rip and go throughs for Sarah Strong. And let's just take a quick look at why Jim Flannery was so upset. You can't even see it as well as I saw it from the exact sideline, but Sarah Strong really extended the elbow and knocked Mogus into the floor, and it was not seen by the officials.
Lauren Jensen is a tough shot maker. She's got 13 points.
So, yeah, their stars have hit back-to-back threes. Jensen and Molly just have to continue to stay confident, stay aggressive, not allow UConn to take them out of what they've done all season long.
Jensen now with 54 in the tournament as Chen travels. And that's what Coach Auriemma told us when he talked about Creighton. He said, they're going to make shots. Early on, UConn kept them from that, but he said that's why our offense has to answer the bell. Can they have?
The offense has been incredible. And this is such a tough Creighton team to defend, but attention to detail has been strong throughout, even right there. Again, another play by Sarah Strong, just sticking with Morgan Molly, deflecting that pass in It's a really good matchup. Strong and Molly. That's a fun one to watch.
As Arnold comes back in for Chen. Look, you played this game, Kim, at the college level. How interesting was it to watch UConn's players weigh in on how they were going to defend Creighton?
Yeah, it was really interesting. It shows the trust that the coaching staff has in the group. I mean, they are the ones out on the floor. They're the ones who have experienced this Creighton offense 2 times already this season. And there were a lot of decisions to be made. A couple times Gino stepped in and said, listen up, this is what we're going to do.
A Big East championship game between UConn and Creighton, the 2 best in this league. But it has been Paige Bueckers and the Huskies show at Mohegan Sun tonight. Life.
Yeah, we are only midway through the 3rd quarter, and Paige Bueckers already up to 16 points in this game. She has read the defense so well when they go under the screen. She's knocking down a 3. When the contest isn't as hard as it should be, she's knocking down a 3. She has the ability to blow by you either side, finish with either hand. And the Paige Bueckers jerseys are just everywhere in this Mohegan Sun arena. The efficiency has been there all season. She's 5 of 10, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Paige Bueckers, such an impactful player when she is as aggressive as we have seen her in all 3 games of this Big East tournament.
Allison has more on Paige Bueckers.
Well, you guys are showing just how locked in she is here in the postseason. And Gino Auriemma told us earlier, seniors can go one of 2 ways this time of year. They can panic and start to worry about what's next, and this is it, or they can embrace it and really take off. And that's clearly where Paige is at right now. And I asked her a little bit about that mindset in this last postseason for her, the mentality she wants to play with. She said it's different than previous years. She knows it's her last. She said, so I just really, people may talk about pressure and what we're trying to achieve, but I just want to have fun and embrace it and enjoy every moment because I know I'm never going to get to do this again. I just focus on going out there, playing as hard as I can for each 40-minute game and advancing this team.
It is that mentality, Allison. Thank you very much that Coach Auriemma talked with you for a little while about today. Of it can go one of 2 ways with a senior.
Yeah, and she just seems like she's playing with a clear mind, and she's just allowing her game to speak for itself. Let the games come to her. She's got fantastic teammates around her. That young one being one of them, Sarah Strong, she's really picked up her rebounding in the last couple of weeks. We came on the air saying she's averaging a 15-point, 15-rebound double-double in this tournament.
Creighton has been stifled tonight. Just 12 for 34. Molly has not been able to find her stroke. And that's been a theme in the regular season between these 2 teams. Bud can't cash in, but the Creighton duo hasn't delivered one of their signature games.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, the defensive focus on the 2 of them for UConn is just at top-tier levels. Right now, Paige Bueckers locked in on Molly. KK Arnold, I mean, that's not a defender I'd want in front of me. She's as good as it gets in keeping players in front and having active, tenacious hands.
Molly Mogensen. You can't forget about her when you're talking about the legacy of these 5th-year Creighton Blue Jays.
Yeah, she's really been an incredible 3rd cog to Jensen and Molly. So steady, the leader of the offense, a 1,000-point scorer herself.
Ten on the shot clock for Fudd, and she was out of bounds.
Creighton has been able to force a significant number of turnovers themselves. That is the 14th for UConn. We talked about Creighton being in the top 5 of fewest turnovers. UConn's actually 2nd. They only average about 10 per game, so they are already above that level here in the 3rd quarter.
You talked a few moments ago about UConn rebounding. Well, they have been missing Aubrey Griffin, veteran wing in the Big East tournament. UConn plans to have her back for the NCAA tournament. She's dealing with knee soreness.
Yeah, Aubrey Griffin returned in about mid-January from an ACL tear in January 2024. She's seen action, but they felt it was better to hopefully get her feeling 100% for the big dance. They expect to see her back.
Molly flashes in. That's Morgan Molly's game.
And that's the reading of the screen. That was a slip of the screen when they're sending two out strong. They've got to continue to just read and attack, which they've been so good at all year. Bueckers on the miss, something she hasn't done too often tonight.
Molly trying to get cooking. Short, rebound to KK Arnold.
And you could tell maybe a little bit tired on the legs, because that time she did have some opening. They didn't defend that flare screen perfectly.
7 points in the quarter for Molly. Just 2 in the first half. Arnold from strong. Arnold foul.
This is just falling asleep defensively for Creighton. They sense kind of a light double team down to Sarah Strong on the catch. And then KK Arnold just has a simple cut right in front of Strong, and nobody recognizes it.
All Big East freshman last year. From Germantown, Wisconsin, KK Arnold. 3-time AP Wisconsin State Player of the Year. All those big-time recruiting classics she was a part of. What does she give this Connecticut team?
Well, what jumps off the charts for anyone watching is the prowess she brings on the defensive end. How in your face she is. She brings tenacity, she brings speed, and she just brings a toughness about her, a grittiness about her, and she completely can change the momentum of a game, the pace of the game when she's inserted on the floor, and it's just a really, really strong weapon right on cue. You see the reaction, a really strong weapon that Gino Auriemma had just waiting in the arsenal on the bench.
That's what Coach Auriemma says. His team has 7, perhaps 8 starters.
Yeah, here's KK Arnold. I mean, this is like the last person I'd ever want to defend me. She's relentless. She's always in a stance. Her eyes are up, surveying where he's going to go next. Able to force a turnover.
Arnold. To Chen. Princeton transfer, driving. Doesn't go. Rebound to Mogensen. Top of the key 3. Point blank range. It was short, but an offensive rebound after Heathcock missed it. On the shot clock. Jensen, she's been the lead Blue Jay tonight, but that is deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with Creighton with 8 on the shot clock. That was that first quarter. It still really is the difference in this game. It's Connecticut outscored Creighton 27-11. UConn's won 14 straight Big East tournament games, 13 of which come by 20-plus points. Chen. Paige Bueckers. And it's going the other way. Brady.
Paige upset with herself. That was a wide open 3. Creighton forgot to send somebody out with her. She wanted that one.
Sometimes you're almost too open.
Right.
She thought about that.
Am I in the right place?
A 3-second difference between shot and game clock. And Bueckers was all over that with an interception. Shot clock turned off. She points up the 1 to hold it for 1.
Yeah, just a ridiculous steal, sticking with her Jensen, trying to curl across the lane. Great hands.
This is where she can thrive. Giving it off to Fudd with 3. Fudd with a bounce to Chen. It's deflected out of bounds, and Gino Auriemma claps his hands because he likes to see his team execute in any situation. 1.9.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with that execution, especially if they don't get a bucket here. Interesting setup here, sending 2 players pretty far back. I think she's on defense.
Strong tried to play volleyball, but that'll do it. For quarter number 3, the Huskies are 10 away from a 23rd Big East tournament crown.
It's just been all gas, no brakes for this UConn Huskies team, and Creighton has certainly played them more evenly in the second and third quarter, but that first quarter continues to loom large.
Gino. The game summary is sponsored by Progressive. Get slam dunk savings today. What do you see, K.A.?
The three-point shooting number is looming large. This is typically a huge piece of what Creighton does. They're 11th in the country, making 9 threes a game, really struggling from behind the arc, while UConn is really thriving in that department.
Well, this Creighton team, while it's a 19-point deficit, this NCAA tournament resume, what are your thoughts on where they stand? A projected 8th seed right now.
Yeah, I really think it's a bit negligent to have Creighton in that 8-9 game. I hope the committee takes a hard look at their schedule. 26-5. All 5 of their losses have come to teams that are currently in the top 25, and 3 of those losses came to teams that are in the top 3, UCLA and 2 to UConn. I know this isn't the showing they hoped in this game, still a lot of game to play, but I really think they should be considered for more of a 6 or a 7 seed. I don't think it's fair to, I think it's a bit disrespectful to put this team in the 8-9 game. There are double-digit lost teams that are 8th in their conference that are seeded above Creighton. I don't think that's completely fair.
They started the year 1-2, very difficult non-conference schedule. So since then, 25-3 as Bueckers is fouled. You play UCLA, you play Kansas State, South Dakota State. The committee says, hey, you should schedule people, and there shouldn't be hefty harm for that, Kim.
Agreed. I mean, obviously, a win like this would have been huge to really make a case, but I still think regardless of this result, again, that would be all 6 losses to top 25 teams and 4 in the top 3. I still think you have to respect what they have done this season.
52-11 the last 2 years.
And I think you show respect to UConn as well for how well they're playing. I mean, this is the next best team in the conference. Gino said it earlier in the year when Creighton wasn't ranked. I don't know how this team isn't ranked.
Can UConn get up to the 1 seed line on Selection Sunday?
I don't think they'll get there, just because this is really the only game left. So I don't think they can really make up any ground, but I think they're certainly playing like a 1 seed, and they're a very dangerous 2 seed.
That's an illegal screen by Brady. The Huskies ranked 3rd in the AP Top 25 poll that came out earlier today. Again, it bears noting South Carolina was ranked 2nd.
Yeah, let me get back to that in a second. Let's take a... I think that was a pretty solid screen from Ice. Brady Mogensen got absolutely trucked by it, but I think it was a legal screen. I think she was set. That may have been a case of the teammate not calling her out. It was a really hard hit, but I think it was legal. But yeah, back to that. So today it came out. UCLA back to 1 after beating USC in the Big Ten, and then South Carolina up to 2 after destroying Texas. It's a little perplexing to see UConn behind them after UConn beat South Carolina by 30 on their home floor. Certainly shakes out to be an interesting NCAA as Molly Mogensen rebounds from that tough hit.
It's the 4th Creighton 3. 4 of 18 are the Jays from downtown for a team that among the best in the country in 3-point efficiency. As Fudd is off, Jensen tries to save, and they're going to rule it Creighton ball. On the AP poll, Kim Adams, a proud Associated Press top 25 voter.
Don't put that out there. I don't want angry tweets coming my way.
Come on now. Nobody would be angry at you. Bruins, what a redemption type of story for them after Juju Watkins ruled the regular season meetings. Lauren Betts and company said, this is our time.
Yeah, Corey Close, big on that response. I hear her use that word more than anything. Her team certainly did that yesterday.
As Arnold is fouled. And there is your top 10.
Yeah, it is interesting to see South Carolina jump UConn after the head-to-head loss, just the head-to-head meeting a couple weeks ago. And Creighton in that top 25 as well.
Gino Auriemma, Jim Flannery. One unique aspect of this championship game, the two coaches have a combined 63 years of experience and at the same schools.
Yeah, really special. Jim Flannery, a Creighton alumni.
He bleeds blue. And what he has built now 4 straight NCAA tournament berths, when they hear their name called, is special. Greatest Creighton women's coach in history of the program. Mogensen with 6, couldn't hit.
Defense is just everywhere. The help defense comes early. They are swarming ball handlers. And it's been relentless pressure for the entirety of this game. There has been not a possession taken off.
They doubled strong. She just bulldozed her way through. And we've got a foul on Creighton.
Foul on Creighton.
Yep.
Molly Mogensen, man, she's taken some tough hits in this game. Let's take a look here. Molly Mogensen caught, oh yeah, she was, so they may, I don't know if they called the hook first, because that part of it looks like an offensive foul, but it looked like Mogensen had her arm wrapped around.
Foul's on Lockett.
Foul's on Lockett.
That's where they called it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so from that angle, it looks like that should have been an offensive foul. Sarah Strong really dropped that shoulder into Mogensen.
12 on the shot clock. Paige Bueckers, the 2-time Big East Tournament Most Outstanding Player. And she has her sights set on a potential third. 20 points, her 17th 20-point game of the year. 3 of them coming in this tournament. Locked in Paige. Timer at 10. Mallory Braid swishes it home.
That's good readiness. Mallory Braid, the one who takes and makes the least amount of threes of the group on the floor. But able to get an opening off the drive and kick.
To your point, just the 7th made 3 of her season. She's made 2 in this tournament.
Ooh.
Arnold.
Skates. Oh.
Couldn't finish. Jump ball. Break and shade.
Ooh. Russian shade. Never seen that side of her.
That is a different side, and the fans love seeing it.
She's Midwest nice. She comes in here.
Bud is off. That was perfectly put, and as a Midwestern native, truthful. Gino Auriemma has to tell his players, Kim, every now and then. Sarah Strong also being another. You have to be meaner, ladies.
Yeah, that was funny. Sarah Strong went to help up a teammate earlier this year, or help up an opponent, and her teammates were like, why would you do that? And there's the triple from Creighton.
And it's a 14-point game. It's not as if UConn has just totally run away with it. Creighton has started the 4th on a 9-4 surge, and Gino Auriemma calls a timeout. 6 straight for the Jays, trying to put some magic together. Next Monday morning, you don't want to miss it. Right here on FS1, a full breakdown of a brand new event in college basketball.
Look at that flag. Paige with the stunner shades on. The fans really, we come up with it all here.
They sure do.
You had the ventriloquist dog. You have the chipmunks.
We've seen it all this weekend, Mohegan Sun, but we've mostly seen Paige Bueckers, Kim, dominate. What to you when you think about her legacy? This is a big term that's going to come up.
Yeah.
How would you categorize it?
John, this is not a podcast episode. I don't have all day to talk about this, but Paige has obviously been one of the best to ever put on this jersey. Fastest player to reach 2,000 career points. But I think she knows why she came here, to win a national championship. It's something she has yet to do. I think that's on the top of her mind. I think this is an incredibly talented team that has the potential to do that. That's why I think we are seeing her play with the urgency and aggressiveness in this start to the postseason that I don't anticipate that slowing down anytime soon.
One doesn't go strong with the board. 65 points in the tournament. That was very well put in non-podcast fashion by you.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a long-term discussion, without a doubt. But just an incredible career as a UConn Husky.
Truly is. Gina Auriemma said she just keeps raising the bar. Three short, strong. There's Bueckers, 24. 6 and 3 assists for one of the all-timers to put on the uniform. How about the defense? It just doesn't stop and forces an 18th Creighton giveaway.
And this is the relentlessness that we're talking about with Paige Bueckers. Arnold misses. Sarah Strong tries to tap it in. A little pad. They should count that as an assist. Paige Bueckers gave her a little point. Paige Bueckers, that's her 24th point. But you're right on the defense. I mean, they are making Creighton look like they are not a good offensive team. And Creighton is a really good offensive team. So what I'm saying, I think we're going to see UConn do this to a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament. Just take them completely out of what they do well offensively.
Jim Flannery's calling for a timeout, and he gets the call. Frustrating night. And the kind of look that makes you say he expected more from his team in this game, but they trailed right from the beginning, 11-0.
I mean, I think UConn is playing as good as anyone nationwide right now. And they're, as we were just talking about, the UConn defense has just really disrupted the free-flowing offense of Creighton. And you do feel for them because I know they wanted to put out a little bit of a better product here, but they've got a lot of season ahead of them.
Let's take a look at the top 2 seed lines in projected brackets from Autumn Johnson. What's your reaction when you see these 8 teams?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the 2 LA teams have been incredibly good all season long. South Carolina and Dawn Staley, no surprise, they are surging late, as we saw in that SEC title game yesterday. And then how about Duke? Duke just running through the ACC tournament, and TCU, maybe the biggest surprise of the season. Maybe not a surprise once you heard who was coming there, but that is a team that has not been to the NCAA tournament since 2010. And they're going to be in the mix to make a run to the Final Four.
Mark Campbell has done an unbelievable job in year 2.
Year 2.
They hadn't won the Big 12 tournament since 2005. The point, though, Kim, is what you and I have talked about. There's never been a better time in this sport, and there's a slew of real national championship contenders.
It is 100% up for grabs this season. Anytime you have thought that there is a dominant team at the top, somebody has knocked them off in the next week. We've seen a myriad of teams at that #1 spot, like a revolving door in the last couple of weeks.
Arnold with another steal. Arnold, no. Saved for Creighton. A Creighton team that went 16-2 in the Big East. The only 2 losses came to this Connecticut team. Imagine their best performance in this league. 8 on the shot clock. Mogensen, Lockett with 5. They're just everywhere. Everywhere. Bueckers with a brilliant play, and Fudd picks it up. Jensen saving it, and Creighton will take it right back.
We're 37 minutes into this game, and the defensive pressure from UConn looks like it did in the opening 30 seconds of the game. It has been nonstop.
Knock it off. Foul on UConn.
Paige Bueckers really good on the defensive end as well. Coming with the correct hands to block that shot, to be in position to not foul, and then saving the play as well. Just instincts from Paige. 5 blocks for UConn tonight.
2 blocks, 2 steals for Bueckers. Give her 96 blocks on her career. 4 off another threshold. Committing a foul this time. Sent Brooke Lidrow to the line. Well, Kim, whether you're a 1 or a 2 seed, however things shake out, would be quite a second-round prize if you have to face a Creighton team that's 26-5.
Yeah, this is a Creighton team that made an Elite Eight just a couple of years ago, taking down Iowa in Carver Hawkeye Arena. It was Lauren Jensen hitting the game winner over her former team. This is not an easy team to prepare for. Again, we haven't seen the magic that Creighton can bring just because of how elite UConn has been defensively, but this is a team that can give you problems on a one-day prep.
Caitlin Chen, and if those are falling, forget it.
9 triples for UConn. A bunch of different players have knocked one down.
5 different Huskies have knocked down a 3. You just said it a few moments ago. They haven't wavered. You'd never know there's 2 minutes to go.
No, they play incredibly hard. They play incredibly connected, and it's an unselfish brand of basketball. But the Stars have led the way. Paige has been aggressive like she needs to be.
Bueckers to fire. They open the game on an 11-0 run as Jim Flannery has gone to the end of his bench and is going to clear it to reward those reserves. Molly is fouled and 1, and it's fitting to see that, Kim, from a Blue Jay legend.
Jim Flannery going to let his seniors, I'm sure, get a resounding applause here from their fans that have shown up. Wow, even the UConn fans, Paige Bueckers coming out at the same time. Sarah Strong.
An ovation for Bueckers. The 10,000 here tell the story of how much they appreciate greatness. Caroline Ducharme checks in. Kate Samuels, Ali Zabel for UConn. Eight on the shot clock here and a foul. Well, during that moment, Molly finishing out with a dozen, and this group, what a legacy they leave. You're talking about a couple 2,000-point scores and some of the winningest players in the history of Creighton basketball.
Yeah, that whole group really decided to all come back for one final season. Mallory Brake, Morgan Molly Bogenson, Molly and Jensen right now, as it says, the 2nd and 3rd all-time leading scorer at Creighton. I think it is within reach, depending on how far they go, potentially to become 1 and 2. Molly Bogenson, such an unheralded member of that trio.
Jensen, 13 points showing, 2,042 for her now. Molly with 2,054 career points. Final minute. And a steal here from Townsend. Creighton team to get here, they made a statement yesterday. They beat a bubbly Seton Hall team by 29. Beautiful basketball that we watched. Tonight it has been all Huskies. Here's Ducharme, who's been through so much to get back out onto the court. Chen. She was super steady tonight.
Really an underrated piece. I think you mentioned it's steady, probably the #1 word on offense, and then she brings an ability to defend as well.
Listen to this place. They tell a story. It's become a timeless phrase this time of year. The UConn Huskies are Big East Tournament champions for a 23rd time.
Incredibly impressive tournament run. Another year for the UConn Huskies. But John, this team just feels really special, really primed to keep this run going.